You're listening to an Anazao Ministries podcast.
Have you guys ever wondered if your taste in anime lines up with our esteemed hosts and anime experts lists? Have you ever been sitting at a party and somebody brings up anime and you just kind of nod along and pretend like you have any idea what they're talking about? Well, that'll be me today. Hopefully we have something for both of you, because this is Systematic Geekology, which means we are your priest to the geeks. I am Joe. I will be the official peace mover for today's festivities. And I am joined with some thoroughly nerdy anime fans. You want to go first, Kino?
So I'm Kino Kennedy. I'm a pastor of Union Bethlehem Zion Church in Cornelius, and I am a huge anime fan. Josh and TJ know that I like Star Wars and Dragon Ball, and my favorite character is Vegeta. Just putting it out there. Okay? Come for me if you want to. We can have a discussion. I'm not scared. It's still Vegeta.
Like, it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to say that.
There's some folks who just have an appreciation for Goku, but I like the evolution of Vegeta.
Mm-hmm.
He has evolved.
I'm TJ Blackwell. I am hardly affiliated with the church, but I do attend. I do host of the Whole Church podcast, and man, I'm just a nerd. I've dipped my toes into pretty much everything you can imagine, so I'm all over the place. Been on a big Bleach kick though. Just read all of Bleach in the past couple days. It's so good. It's so good.
Nice. And this week's, we have a special guest with us. Josh, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. I am Josh Rosengrantz. I am a college student with no podcast to my name, unlike this, quite a rogues gallery we have going already. I am computer engineering major, and I am also I have been a fan of anime for a considerable portion of my life, short though that may be, as I think the youngest one on. And I have on my phone just a list of anime that I have watched / will be watching / am watching, and it goes far is what it goes. It's bad.
Yeah, I stopped trying to keep a list in high school because I just wasn't.
It's too much. It's too much to watch. It's too much to take in. I pick and choose my poison every now and again. That's the only way I can make it work.
Yeah, I am very much going to be the token 90s kid with the references that I make. You can tell that my era of anime is a very specific one, and my style of anime is a very specific one. But yeah, we will definitely, I'm very interested to get into a bit of a conversation about DBZ. But Kino, I will let you go ahead and kick it off. We're gonna do a bit of a round table. Everybody's gonna throw out some recommendations, some of their favorites in the anime world.
So my recommendation is Black Clover. I like Black Clover. And also Attack on Titans and My Hero Academia. But I have to admit, I did not see the Jujutsu Kaisen movie because I forgot it was happening. Too much stuff was going on. And but Demon Slayer, just Demon Slayer. Okay,
yeah,
that's my 5. I know it's supposed to do 3. I just threw them out there. That's what I was on. That's what I'm currently on. That's what I've been on. Those are my favorites outside of Dragon Ball, which we're not going to talk about just yet, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's the solid, like, modern, like, current anime pantheon. You know,
now, I have some gems too. Now I have some gems, but that's just to get people to wet their palates and be all interested.
Right. 4 really solid shows, and then My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah.
Hey now.
Wait. What you saying now, Willis? What you talking about, Willis?
My Hero's great.
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was largely disinterested in My Hero Academia when I tried it. I mean, I'm also the type that, like, the flashier, the better, the more, like, that
It
style
does.
of doing it.
It gets flashier,
It does.
but it also gets
Yeah.
worse, in my opinion. After the what do they call themselves? The Liberation Army, whatever they call themselves. After that arc, it really went downhill for me. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna argue. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's okay.
Even if the
Well,
opinion's
I
wrong.
just chalk it up to Josh. They spend so much time together that it's kind of like a contagion, right? Josh has such bad opinions that when somebody like TJ is around him that much, just bad opinions have a way of rubbing off on other people, you know.
that might be true, but that's not one of them.
And to clarify, I've been told I'm the Josh with the good opinions, as opposed to the Josh
Yeah.
with the bad opinions.
So the SG Illuminati has spoken, and Josh will Josh will be henceforth known as Second Josh or Josh with the good opinions.
Mm-hmm.
The edict has come down from on high. Josh, our producer Josh, will only ever be known as Producer Josh or Josh with the bad opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you mentioned Attack on Titan. Enough people finally recommended that show to me that I'm like, okay, let me. I don't have a whole lot of time to really jump into a whole new series. Cherry pick like 5 episodes for me to watch. It gives me a good idea of what the show is about. And they did. And it made me go back from the beginning and start that show fresh. That show to me is probably the best I've seen from a modern standpoint at give me a world. I've said this on a bunch of different shows, right? Give me a world that I feel like I could live in. Like this is fleshed out. There's storytelling here. Like there's weight behind the characters, all of those kinds of things. You've got me hook, line, and sinker. It doesn't have to be the prettiest show. It doesn't have to be any of those things. But if you give me a lived-in world, I am here for it. And Attack on Titan did that in spades.
Amen. All right, wonderful. Glad to hear that. Yeah. Listen, Attack on Titans has it grew on me. I think I was in that void of like, dang, what I'm gonna watch after all the Demon Slayer I had watched. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna see, because folks have been talking about Attack on Titans as well. But it is, you're right, Joe. It is a world where you can understand, grasp, and see yourself in. Any characters that you want to point out, that they speak to you in a way that makes the anime fun, in my opinion.
Yeah. Attack on Titan, as crazy as it sounds, I think it's underrated. Nobody's out here saying it's bad. It just doesn't get the praise it deserves, in my opinion, and that might be because of the lackluster ending, which I'm not going to spoil for anybody.
Ooh,
Please don't.
about that.
Yeah.
Please don't. Let's not talk about that.
I should say, until recently, I'd only seen the first season, and I had seen it twice. And recently, I'm like, you know what? No, I gotta get through the whole show. And I am 3 seasons down. The fourth season is on the horizon, and might be what I'm doing when we finish recording this, to be honest, because it's got so good in season 3.
The whole show is just solid front to back.
Yeah.
And I like the ending. A lot of people didn't. I like it.
I'm pretty sure it's in your makeup that you have to be contrarian to what other people don't like.
No. If something's good, I like it.
Well played, sir. Well played. Yeah, Demon Slayer is another one of those that I've heard so much about, but like I have not had the time to actually get into it. The episode that you guys did on Demon Slayer got me a little hyped for it. I'm like, I might need to check that out,
Yeah, you should. It is gorgeous.
It is. Wow. That is a wonderful. Again, I will say this. I'm not a huge manga reader, but Demon Slayer was the only anime that I watched and then read the mangas just to find out how it ended, and will still watch every single episode over again just to get that same feeling.
Yeah, there are only a few shows where I, will watch it, then I'll read it, because that's just what I do. I read the thing and then keep watching the new episodes as they come out. They are One Piece, Demon Slayer, and Bleach, and Berserk. Vinland Saga. List is a little bit longer than I let on, but it's not everything I read.
Yeah, the only thing that I've done that for is Dragon Ball. You know, I was I found the manga when I was a teenager and really enjoyed that. But otherwise, I don't know what it is about manga. But for as much as I love comics, I just have such a hard time getting into. I don't know if it's the style that they're written or what have you. Gorgeous a lot of the time, absolutely stunning, but just cannot find myself getting into it.
It's the reading backwards part.
Yeah, likely.
Yeah. But if I'm gonna go for my top 3, I'll do 3. Berserk is going first overall, easy. After that, it gets a little muddy, but I'm gonna say One Piece, and then Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. Okay.
If I'm doing a top 3,
Okay.
there's just incredible characters, incredible worlds from all 3, interesting power systems. Not so much from Berserk. The power system in Berserk is just struggle until you die, but it works. It fits the tone of the show. So,
okay, so I'm gonna again show the fact that I am absolutely just here to look pretty for 90% of this episode. But so soundbite, what is Berserk? I've never heard of that one.
oh wow,
I've never seen Berserk, but I have heard of it.
I've heard of it too, but I that's not my wheelhouse.
so Berserk is a seinen property, which most anime that we watch are shonen. They're written for younger boys. Seinen's written for like angsty teenagers. Right off the bat, the tone is much darker. Our protagonist Guts finds he's an orphan, finds a band of mercenaries he fits in well with. I don't want to spoil anything.
That's the worst part about trying to talk about the shows, because it's like you want to tell like the main idea, but there's a certain point where you start telling the main idea and you just lose the entire story.
Yeah, I'll just say I've never seen a person. You know what? Never mind. Guts is the Job of manga, except there is no reward for him at the end. So far.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the author did die last year. He was suffering chronic illness, but they are going to finish it according to his wishes. So we'll see. But it is the best dark fantasy property I've ever, consumed by far. Really powerful story beats, really incredibly intriguing world. I cannot say enough good things about it, actually. It's hard to form the words.
So you had me...
TJ, this is the manga?
Yeah, the manga, yeah. The anime are not good, unfortunately. None of the anime for Berserk are good. Okay. The Golden Age movies that were released in the 90s, those are good.
Oh,
Nothing
so this is an older
good.
property.
This is old. This is really old.
Huh.
Ongoing, but old. And it is... So the art in this book could be hung in a museum.
Huh.
It is incredible. Man.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like dark fantasy is one of those genres that it might be because of the time period in which I grew up and the kinds of things that I watched as a kid, but like that's the type of fantasy that like that 14-year-old boy part of my brain is like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like high fantasy, was it Shield and Sword it's called? That sort of mainline fantasy, meh. Most of it is mediocre and basically just the same story regurgitated to different settings. But yeah, that sounds like an interesting premise.
Yeah. If you've ever seen a piece of like so much of what you've consumed is probably inspired in some way by Berserk. If you've ever seen any character swinging around a sword as big as he is, that's Berserk inspired in one way or another. I'm not kidding.
So you're saying if you watch Bleach, you've watched this. Okay. Yeah. Bleach,
Black Clover, other big sword shows.
First thing that came to my mind was Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Yeah, Cloud, absolutely. Berserk inspired. Elden Ring actually is absolutely filled with Berserk references, and if you've been following the show, you heard me on a show. I probably talked about Elden Ring recently. Incredible game.
Yeah. I feel like that was a solid month's worth of episodes where you could kind of tell when those episodes were recorded by the fact that in every single one of them, your recommendation at the end was Elden Ring.
Yeah, timestamp.
Yep.
Yeah, had to. I still do. If you haven't played it yet, go get it.
Yeah, can't say as though I have, but then again, so one of the quick hot take, because I'm good for at least one per episode. Skyrim, so incredibly overrated, so like such a just a boring slog of a game. But then again, I'm not the biggest giant open world sandbox sort of video game player. I random side tangent, but yeah. I'm one of those people that thinks that Skyrim is incredibly overrated.
Yeah, Skyrim is like the third. Skyrim's like the third best Elder Scrolls game. Forget RPG.
Skyrim in the first playthrough I thought was great, and then I've replayed it once or twice. Still good. Modded it to death. Amazing. But I think the best incarnation is it's like a game that used Skyrim as its own engine. It's called Elderall. It's free on Steam, but it only works if you have Skyrim already. It's great. It's just a phenomenally much better story, much better just everything.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter is one of those shows that, again, I've heard so much about it that I've seen random episodes of it, and it's weird. Or at least the episodes that I watch are weird, but enough that I'm interested, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's going to get weird. It's going to get a little funky.
Yes, it is.
And it is incredible.
It is. So it is. I will say that I like to stick to what I know. And my youngest son recommended me we watch Hunter x Hunter, and I was blown away.
Mm-hmm. And it's written by the same man who wrote Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh,
okay.
Mm-hmm. And it is. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's better than Yu Yu Hakusho, so I'm not gonna. But somebody from my generation they were real ready with their keyboard, man. You just give them a reason, you know. But if he finishes Hunter x Hunter, it will be. If he is also struggling with chronic illness, the cram mentality and the manga scene is absolutely horrible.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard a lot of those styles of I'll call it art creation, and I'm encompassing a lot of things. Kind of have that same similar down note when you hear about a lot of the creators suffering from chronic illnesses or just like basically working themselves to death.
He's also married to the author of Sailor Moon, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so she'll help him like pin panels when he's too sick or injured to work. And if he does pass away, they've already planned this out. She's going to finish the series for him. So, somber note, but Nin is the best power system in any anime I've ever seen. It is so unique, incredibly in-depth, and very refreshing. It's right up there with like Full Metal Alchemist, Alchemy, and Bankai. It's great.
Cool. All right. Second, Josh. You're up.
I've got a lot of very mainstream ones that I could talk about, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I am very big into that with a whole group of my friends at college that we're watching through. Part 6 just came out. We're going to watch that next semester. That should be great. But I also have some more, I don't know if they'd be some obscure ones, but more, it's a different genre than usually you hear talked about. This is one that I think Joe would be much more into. Because it is a horror anime, and it's actually an entire series of anime and some VNs, visual novels, that the whole story isn't told in order, and it's rather unclear what the correct order is, and that's part of kind of the mystery of the show and the horror of the show. It's called Higurashi.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Monogatari for a second.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's called Higurashi. Now, the main series that I've been watching is Higurashi When They Cry. There's a few different things that kind of all branch off of that. But that's one I like to recommend. It's not as well heard of, and it's a very different kind of anime. It gives you a much different feel than something like JoJo's does.
So it's like Fate. Like you can watch one series, and then just depending on what you feel like, you can watch you can watch the sequel. But there are 2 other sequel series that you could also watch instead, and those are also valid paths for the story to continue.
And most recently, they were very sneaky, which was very bad for me because what they did was they made a new version of the show, because the original Higurashi When They Cry is pretty old, and the art style really shows it in the animation. And so they did a remake, and it was like a shot for shot remake until it wasn't, and it slowly, oh no, something's gone wrong, and it turned out it was actually the next sequel series, and I only found this out partway through. So if you do watch Higurashi, don't necessarily watch Higurashi When They Cry Go/New first. I would recommend watching the other one first, but I've even looked this up. I've spent significant time trying to figure out what order to watch it in. It's a mess, and it's very interesting.
I've never heard of that.
See, if storytelling elements like that are done well, I'm a big fan of that kind of like almost disjointed in a way, but not actually disjointed. They are telling a continuous story. It's just not necessarily in order. And that's probably Star Wars effect on my brain with the way that was released and the way that I watched through that. But yeah, I feel like that kind of craftsmanship. Yeah, let's go with craftsmanship is kind of very singularly found in anime and like this style of presentation. Because I'm including manga in that as well. Like that style of craftsmanship. If it's something that's US based, I don't think you're going to find that same kind of patience taken to it and thoughtful storytelling. And same thing with like comics, not really something like that you're going to find there. But yeah, in anime adjacent stuff for sure.
And speaking of anime adjacency, I want to ask you guys what your opinion on, is RWBY an anime or not?
No.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I was going to...
Oh, wait!
It's RWBY.
Yes!
RWBY,
Yeah.
Yes. You know what? One day I saw this on Amazon Prime, and I just watched it just to see what it was about. And I was like, I don't like it.
Yeah. You know what?
I don't like it.
Let me go ask my roommate. He's a huge RWBY fan. He's playing Smite right now, probably using one of the RWBY skins that are in Smite. And I'll see what he says. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, I am very much, I like things that aren't necessarily anime in the strictest definition, like RWBY, which is not. It was, I believe, an American-made series, which was piloted by Monte before he passed. Which I personally, first season, amazing. Second season, good. And then it all downhill from there. Because that's Monte died partway through season 2, and it was really the most sad part, because I personally really did love RWBY.
Maybe I watched season 2 or season 3. I don't know. But what I watched, I was like, I don't like this. This is not for me.
He said no. RWBY is American made. Doesn't count.
Right. Yeah, it is American made. That's why I was like, it's one of those ones that kind of, it's very much, there's no doubt it's anime inspired, and it's meant to look very similar. And I tend to lean towards like a more inclusive in that sense definition of anime. But that leads to another one, Tower of God.
Oh, I like Tower of God. I like Tower of God.
So
that's a good one.
Tower of God it's one of the few series that I ever read the source material first, and that's because back before that became like an anime, which you can also debate about that one. Before it became an anime, it was a webcomic on Webtoon, and back then I was really into reading different webcomics, and reading through Tower of God, it was. It at bare minimum top 3 of all webcomics I've ever read. It is such a great story. And when I heard that they were making, it was one of the first web comics they made into an anime, and I was blown away. Like, they're gonna do that? It's whoa, because that's a great show they're gonna make.
Did you read Hardcore Leveling Warrior?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also
I love
good.
that. I love that. I like it more than I like Tower of God, but that's probably just a me thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
I put
so
Tower of God a bit higher. But
I'll ask, what is Tower of God?
all right, let me try
Take it
to
away, Josh.
briefly.
Oh,
sum
I
up
did
Tower
not
of
finish the
God.
series.
To give you a brief idea of it, it follows. Does anyone remember the main protagonist's name? It's been too long since I
No.
could look it up. But, so it all takes place in this place called the Tower. It is said that if you can get to the very highest level of the tower, any wish can be granted to you. And various groups of people are all working together trying to get up there. And there is what's called the King of the Tower. I think his name is like Jihad. It's a kind of an the whole series is originally, I believe, was written in Korean, so the names escape me a little bit in pronunciation.
Bam.
Bam, yes. And so it follows Bam on his journey through there. But of course, as with many anime protagonists, he is very special. Most people are what are called regulars, where they are very, very. They have to follow these very strict rules of the tower, including like the magic system and everything. He is one of the few that are called irregulars, which, roughly speaking, means that he's can kind of bend and or break some of the rules of the tower and is just overpowered in most situations. And it kind of follows the story. He is trying to find this girl was kind of his driving force at the beginning of the series. And he's all the while there are all these different groups at work that are trying to manipulate him and a bunch of other regulars to either end with him dead or with him killing the king because they want to throw a revolution. And that doesn't even begin to get to the whole thing. You really have to watch it or read it yourself to get any real idea of what's going on. But there's just a lot of really cool elements of Tower of God.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
That is one thing about webtoons. I feel like most of them run long.
Yeah.
Like if you aren't in it reading it, you're going to get lost. Easy.
Yeah.
It's not going to be able to catch up on what happened.
I've been off Webtoon for like a year and a half, and it's daunting. Like, I want to go back because I want to catch up on Tower of God and The Gamer and Hardcore Leveling Warrior and like 3 other series.
Lore Olympus.
And it is daunting to even consider trying. I didn't get into Lore Olympus, to be honest, but
it's pretty good.
But it is daunting to just even think about going back to that.
Look, Hardcore Leveling Warrior, finish it. It's absolutely worth it.
Did they finish it?
Yeah, it ended
geez, okay.
a few weeks ago.
Have to go back. Never mind, I'm getting back on Webtoon. Woo!
Yeah. It was one of the funniest things I've ever read. He started the epilogue, did 2 epilogue chapters, and then on the 3rd one, he basically just said, hey, I didn't really know where I was going with this epilogue. This is the end of the story. Thanks for reading it. Shout out to all my great team.
Nice.
That's funny.
It's great. Really, really funny way to end the series.
Yeah.
And it was still good, for the record.
So anything else for your list, Josh?
I mean, I could go on for ages and ages, but another one that's a little different one would be Agretzko. Have any of you watched Agretzko?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still on Netflix?
Yeah. I think they are the ones who like make it, so I think they're always going to have it. Or at least they have some sort of deal with it. Yeah, Agretzko is great. It's a very nice change of pace. It follows the titular character, Retzko, and she's an office worker, and it starts off as like, you know, a cute little like office drama, and then partway through it's like, but she has a secret, not a terrible secret. Her secret is that she loves karaoke, but not just karaoke, death metal karaoke. And it's made all the better by the series art style, where like they're all the characters are animals, and she's a little red fox, or a little red panda rather. And it's a very funny series. It's lighthearted. It has its moments of it hits everything. It's got its own romance subplot, like every other anime always has some romance subplot somewhere. But one of the cooler aspects of Agretsuko is, as I said, all the characters are animals. But what's interesting about that is most of them, there's a reason why they are what animal they are. Like one of her coworkers is a deer, and the reason it being is because she always acts all doughy-eyed to get what she wants. And there's lots of little jokes and puns like that throughout there with the character creation, which I enjoy trying to figure out. Some more obvious than others, but
Yeah, I would like to shout out One Piece real quick. Not a lot of romance subplots in One Piece. Very impressive for a series that's been running for well over
Forever.
20 years.
That's funny.
Gotta say. Just make your main character completely oblivious to the machinations of the female heart, and that's you get struck gold. He's just completely numb to it.
So,
all right. I gotta sneak one in on you, Joe. One last one, which I think it's definitely more of my generation thing from what I've been able to tell, and it's what I'm going to be using on my one roommate who is firmly anti-anime next semester. What we're going to use to get him into anime, because it's his kind of thing, Death Note.
oh, yeah.
I like Death Note.
Death Note.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's fascinating. It's very much there's a difference between a hero and a protagonist. Who you're actively rooting for and who the series sets you up to root for. You can't talk about it too much because of how just great of a story it is and how it unfolds. And I just have to say it's still one of my favorite series until like the last 5 episodes.
Yeah, Death Note is like one of the best starter animes. If you aren't worried about ruining other anime for them. That's why I really did not like to see so many people start watching anime with Attack on Titan. Because realistically, it does not get a whole lot better from there.
No.
Yeah.
Like Attack on Titan is a masterpiece.
Death Note's good, but you have room to grow.
Yeah. Just not a whole lot of room, though. Because Death Note, again, is way up there.
But it gives you what an unfortunate amount of series do with a questionable ending.
Yeah. It's like, I think really Demon Slayer is the perfect starter anime.
It is.
Because it's gorgeous.
It is.
It will keep you entertained.
It will.
But there are much more intriguing, much more engaging stories.
Yes.
Demon Slayer is perfect.
Hey, Josh, I would
Yeah.
also recommend Assassination Classroom for your non-anime roommate.
All right.
Have you seen that one?
I'll say I haven't seen that. So that would be a new one for both of us, yeah.
Okay. So Assassination Classroom is this guy who is the number one assassin in his area. And he is teaching his kids how to assassinate him. And he has these tentacles. And they got these BB guns or these pellet guns, I think it is. And they're trying to kill him every so often. Never can kill him. But it ends so beautiful. I think I cried at the end. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I think Bleach is an underrated good starter anime.
Bleach is just long.
Bleach is long. Bleach is a little long.
It's a little long for a starter anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
Maybe like
And
number
they're
2.
continuing it this year.
Yeah. So
start with Death Note because it's short,
Yes,
and then
there you
jump
go.
right
Death
to
Note is
Bleach.
very short.
there you go. That's a good way to work it.
Then you can watch One Piece.
Oh
Once you-
boy!
Well, okay.
All right, so now
You go
this is the only
go
show
Death
we're gonna
Note.
have to watch.
Death Note, Demon Slayer, Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, One Piece. That's a steady linked progression for you.
I just can't commit just watching all of that. That One Piece is a little extensive.
Just take it out little by little.
No,
Couple episodes a day.
I can't.
You'll catch up in like 6 years.
6. Yeah, that's my point. That is my point. That's a lot. I need closure.
Really, if you watch 2 episodes a day,
Oh my
you will catch up in 2 years.
That's just still too much.
No.
That is still too much.
For me, that actually doesn't sound too bad. I I've only seen like half of the first season so far, and it was just hadn't pulled me in at that
hold
point.
on.
I'm like,
Yeah,
If you read the manga and then just watch from current release, you'll be caught up in like a month and a half.
no.
yeah, but how long will it take to read the manga?
That depends on you. Took me like a month and a half.
Oh,
Oh gosh. Oh
Wow.
gosh. I couldn't.
It's so worth it. It's worth it, Kino.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not worth it. It's just listen, TJ and Josh. I don't know about you, Joe, but I have a family.
Mm-hmm.
I have responsibilities. Okay, I had to pick and choose what I'm going to watch, when, and for how long, and I cannot commit to One Piece.
Set your heart ablaze.
I'm not saying One Piece ain't, because I do like it. What I've seen so far, I like. I do like. I just can't commit. Just cannot commit.
And bro, that's why I married another geek. That's just, then it's all built in. That way you have the ample opportunity to go back and watch these things. And now on top of it, you're literally a panelist on a podcast. I'm doing it for the podcast. I'm doing it for the podcast.
True.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's. I have other stuff going on. Okay, I have other stuff, and to commit to 2 episodes a day for 2 years.
I mean, it's a cool 40 minutes. You know?
I think
Push
what we're
bedtime
learning
back
here
a
is
little.
that Kino just needs to understand a little bit about prioritization. That's all.
Yeah, Kino needs to get on his One Piece grind. Is what it is.
Y'all, you don't know what you don't know is that I will probably try to finish the season in a night. That's what I would try to do.
Good luck.
Okay, I know. That's why, I can't commit.
Oh, that's funny.
what should I watch when I finish Attack on Titan in like a week?
What have you seen?
What should be my next series?
Yeah, what have you seen?
that would take too long to figure that out.
Hunter x Hunter?
I've seen 1 season of Hunter x Hunter.
Watch the rest.
Yes,
That's fair. That was
Yes,
Definitely
good.
watch the
I watched
rest.
it.
yes.
All right, I'll put that on next. So I've
Bleach.
successfully one more thing Joed into, I think, like 20 extra minutes of audio. So
Yep. But that's a good. It's a good question to ask, because I think I think that's part of the issue with anime, that even for somebody like me, right? So real big surprise on my short list that I would immediately point to is specifically Dragon Ball. I think Dragon Ball is the best out of any of it. I think Dragon Ball is way better than Dragon Ball Z. Just pound for pound comparison. I'm not saying Dragon Ball Z is bad. Dragon Ball Z is also amazing. The wheels fall off in every single direction after Z, but
That's not true. GT came after Z.
right. GT
yeah,
is
GT's the
probably
problem.
You're the problem.
No, that is blasphemy. Okay, so if you compare GT and Super,
Okay, to be fair, I haven't seen Super, so I have
Okay,
no.
You have
opinion
not
on
seen Super?
Very easy. Super is bad.
yeah,
No, I've seen Z, and I've seen most of Z, and I've seen some of GT, and I was just like, what? Why? What is happening?
The
All of
Tournament of
GT.
Power was boring.
yeah.
The current
was.
arc, these last 2 arcs in Dragon Ball Super, though, are the best Dragon Ball I have seen since I watched GT for the first time. The Moro arc and the Granola arc are incredible. I can't get over it. They are so good.
TJ, I think it was you that got me onto checking that out, and I did. And part of the reason why it is so stellar and so good is because they stopped trying to go in every other direction and took it back to some of the core fundamentals that made Dragon Ball great in the first place. That's half my problem, right? Okay, so you have all of these built up characters over all of this time, all of this equity is put into this brand, and then Super comes along and it's like a 10-year-old boy with the action figures in the toy chest, right? Opens up the toy chest, bang, 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 puts the toy chest away. No thoughtful idea to telling some stories. GT is far from a perfect series, but at least it tried to do something with itself, rather than, just how far can we power scale Saiyans before it's just stupid.
Yeah. Also, Super Saiyan 4 is the better transformation. It's
Yes.
way cooler than Super Saiyan God. I'm going to die on that hill, and it's going to take a lot of people to kill me on that hill.
Don't worry, I'm up there with you because you have Super Saiyan 4 that's like, buffed out red fur, extension of the Ozaru transformation, all of those kinds of things. You have Pink Goku. That's Super Saiyan God, folks. It's Pink Goku. Come on. Like that's and what so everybody stands in a circle and sings Kumbaya for 5 minutes, and then you've got a Super Saiyan
That
God.
was
Come on.
hilarious. That was so funny. It's like, okay, everybody, join hands. I can't do it without your power.
So funny story about DBZ. I got halfway through the American the American showing of the series as it was showing in real time. They stopped showing it for a while. I got my hands on the Japanese version, and so from after the Cell arc on, my first experience with Dragon Ball Z was the Japanese. Same thing with GT. GT, I saw the Japanese before I saw the American. If you have an opportunity to watch one of the two, try and watch the Japanese version. Just the music, the ambiance, everything that people have a tendency to complain about as with the dubbed GT is fixed when you watch it in its original state.
I, for one, love the GT English theme.
I will say, when I did watch it, that was the one thing I enjoyed about it.
Dragon Ball
but
GT.
It has been a long time since I watched GT for the first time, so maybe I do need to go back and rewatch it. Maybe I should just maybe instead of doing Hunter x Hunter, I should just do all of Dragon Ball in a row.
Yes.
I have one problem with this box set of Dragon Ball GT that I bought. It does not have that opening on it. Terrible. Funny. I still watch it every night, but it's just not the same.
So, real quick, since we're talking about Dragon Ball Z, all I've got to say, Kino, about your Vegeta comment is Piccolo did it first and Piccolo did it better. Fight me.
Not better.
Oh, 100% better.
Not
Definitely. 100%.
Now, Piccolo was a great stepdaddy. Okay. He was
Piccolo's
a great stepdaddy.
The best dad in the series. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, have y'all seen Abridged?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, they literally joke about how I'm a better father than you. Like, today I finished rewatching Abridged, and I love Abridged series when they're good, and
yeah,
Dragon Ball Z Abridged, so good.
It's the best one.
Yep. It is by far the best Abridged I've seen.
Sword Art Online.
I've heard good.
Close.
Yeah. SAO Abridged, great until it isn't, just like the original SAO. And I've heard good things about Hellsing Abridged, but I haven't seen the original Hellsing, so I haven't watched Hellsing Abridged.
So
I've heard of Hellsing, but I've never watched it.
Hellsing is good. But also,
it's supposedly good.
The fact that Super has finally gone back to Vegeta and Goku being distinct is perfect. Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct are, like second and third coolest power-up in the show. Maybe third and fourth. Because I really do like Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4, naturally, is number one.
Yeah, I think I'm not a big fan of Super Saiyan 3. I don't like the long hair look. I don't know. And the no eyebrows. It's just weird to me. I don't know. I feel like it's Akira Toriyama in all of the wrong ways.
The best ways. Well, actually, the no eyebrows came back for Ultra Ego.
Yeah.
So, pretty big fan of that. Goku straight up calls it weird face mode. When Vegeta's fighting Granola, he's like, "You can't beat him in weird face mode? What do you mean weird face mode? It's called Ultra Ego."
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, it's probably because I'm such a fan of the original Dragon Ball, and like I just think that with Piccolo, there's so much untapped potential there for storytelling, and honestly, I don't care about Saiyans. There's so many of them. I don't care. The only one that I care they can't throw a bone to, and that's Gohan. Like
True.
they made him
Yeah.
the best until he just wasn't anymore. And
True.
yeah.
They throw him a chicken bone in the Moro arc, but that's it.
Yeah. But so I want to take the opportunity while we're talking about anime to show some love to one of my absolute favorite IPs growing up, Digimon.
Digimon.
Yeah, they redid Digimon Adventure 1 during 2020, and it was if you grew up, especially if you grew up watching the American run, like back in the 90s, and like if you're a fan, oh dude, it's a love letter in all the best ways to Digimon fans that are out there. And right after that finished, because that was a straight reimagining, like that was they very much took all of these characters, they took all of the setting, you know, the Digidestined with the partner Digimon and the whole 9 yards, kind of lifted, copy paste, tried to make it a bit more substantive than it was originally. And then they came out with Ghost Game in 2021, and it's still going on. Digimon Ghost Game might be the best Digimon series that I've seen so far. It is straight up Digimon horror, and it is phenomenal. Like there's a one of the big bads in the original series was Devimon. It was basically literally like a giant devil, essentially. And the climactic battle is Angemon versus Devimon. We don't need to think too hard about this, guys.
Scene.
But the with the way that it was presented, and you know, that coupled with just the themes and the tones and all of those kinds of things, it was only a matter of time until somebody took those kinds of concepts and just ratcheted up the horror element of it. And that's what this does. And like, it's got an intriguing story plot to it that, like, it's one of those, I can't remember what you guys said, what show you said it about, but essentially you got to watch it to get all the nuance and the depth of the storytelling and all of those kinds of things. But like, honestly, for something that takes the premise, and you can still see the influence of the original premise, and changes the subgenre, if you will, from adventure and fantasy to adventure horror, I think it's chef's kiss, you know?
My favorite Digimon is Digimon Frontier.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably in the minority by saying that, because by the purists, that's considered one of the weaker Digimon. But that's honestly because it took the formula that was established by Adventure 1, that they had in some way, shape, or form continued on with through the first several series, even past season 2 of Adventure, like even into other ones. And they just kind of tossed that out and went a different direction with it. And I thought it was well done.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was sick. You turn into a Digimon. That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember enjoying the fact
cool.
that it was more. I always wondered, right? Like you had this big kaiju battle going on, right, in the first couple of series, and it's all sunshine and rainbows, right? But like, what are the humans doing the whole time? You know what I mean? They're just kind of standing there on the sideline like cheerleaders, rooting their Digimon on into victory, sort of thing. But like, this put the human in the fray as part of the story. And I thought that was a very interesting path to take, especially for me when it first came out. This is when I was still very into tech and computers and all of those kinds of things. And so for me, that was the way that they kind of went that route of having it be more like a computer program and that sort of thing. I thought was very well done.
Just doesn't get enough love. I had to bring it up.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, those are probably the most notable ones that I would bring to this conversation. You know, a lot of my other ones are all series that, and this is kind of one of the things that I appreciate the most about the style of anime that I appreciate, is it's really it's like people take the essence of the literary elements, right? the hero's journey, those kinds of things, like the core storytelling pieces, and you concentrate it to such a level that it's it's like a reimagining of the source material with flashiness on top, and it pokes and prods at deeper concepts that allows for, chewing the scenery a little bit, if you will. It gives the characters some dimension and some weight and all of those things, while asking yourself thought-provoking questions while watching something that's just cool to watch. You know what I mean?
That's what everything should strive to be.
Yep. Yeah. I think I think the thing that baffles me about it the most is to harken back to the episode 2. I think you guys said it was when the last time that Kino and I were on an episode together. We talked about whether or not anime is okay, and kind of why some of the what's and the whys of why Christians tend to have a bit of a problem with anime in comparison to some other geekdoms and stuff like that. But to me, it's no different than reading some of these epics that are commonplace to be taught in school and stuff like that, because you're essentially just repackaging these main core stories just in a different kind of way than what some other IPs look like.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to tell really good stories. And I think people get hung up on mediums a lot. Like I said, my one roommate doesn't like anime, and it's, whether it's just because of what kinds of anime he thinks of as anime, or if it's the medium itself, I'm not sure, and that's what we're going to find out. But there's just lots of mediums for stories that people just will not explore for just spite of the medium itself. Anime, like D&D as a storytelling genre, I think is one of the kind of the hidden gems of storytelling genres. Just not just D&D, but tabletop role-playing games very generally. As I said, webcomics, reading manga. There's all sorts of different things. Podcasts, shocking enough.
Yeah,
They're
I think anything that causes us to have more of introspection of what we do and who we are, and anime does that a lot. By retelling them, it's in essence it's almost the same story, but it's retold in a different way. But it causes us to reflect and to ponder. Actually, is my life worth something? Because I'm watching Hunter x Hunter struggle and trying to find his daddy.
Jing, where are you?
But it's those type of things that really but that's the great thing about art in of itself. It causes us to have more introspection of who we are and what we do, and I think that's one of the beauty things about anime as a whole.
Yeah. I saw a breakdown. It was a meme. It had a breakdown of all the different types of geeks, and there was one that was like a thoughtful geek that and there was a little blurb about, have you ever thought of the deeper elements of, and it said enter fandom here. And I feel like in any given conversation, that's usually me, where I don't know. It kind of goes hand in hand, right? When you have these worlds that are lived in, these characters that are fleshed out, all of those kinds of things, it allows for that immersion to say, what would I do in this situation? Or I think for a lot of us, we can appreciate a good old fashioned redemption arc. You know what I mean? See the sinner become a saint sort of thing, and see that progression of the individual. And I think that there's a bit of almost living vicariously that takes place when anime is at its best, because you're using this character as a means to kind of put yourself in their shoes. And like you said, Kino, ask about the deeper things and poke and prod. Does my life have meaning? What does this mean? What would I do? And understanding more of the world around you, more, especially for us Christians, asking and pushing the boundaries on the bubble and asking questions of God and things like that. And poke and prod at the world around us. that pound for pound, I would put comics and anime right at the top of that conversation as the best mediums to be able to accomplish that.
I agree with that.
And anime is not so much a genre as it is a style. I absolutely promise that there is an anime out there for you, noble listener. There is something for you out there.
They are not all shonen, despite what you may think.
That is true.
It's true.
That is
That
true.
is true. That is true.
But
I
most
am
of
a
the good ones are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for shonen style. Like it's very much the hero's journey most of the time with
Yeah.
a lot of it, and I'm a sucker for that. That's 99% of what people of my generation, Kino. I would guess you know what I'm talking about. That
Yep.
so much of the IPs that we reach for all kind of have instilled that same style of storytelling, that hero's journey. What do you do in the face of peril? All of those kinds of things in such a way that, that's I'm a sucker for that style. But yes, they're right. That is not the only flavor of anime.
You like sports? We got sports. You like
Cooking.
fighting? We got fighting. Cooking? Food Wars. Check it out.
Yep.
Nice.
If all you want is a cheesy romance, there's that. If you want horror, there's that.
Table tennis? Exclusively ping pong? Check it out. It's in my top 10. Ping pong the animation. Fantastic.
Entire show all about gambling. There's just there's so many just little niche animes. You will find something.
Ice skating, basketball, hockey, baseball, soccer, painting, volleyball, I guess. Yeah. Swimming? Yeah, it's endless. Endless list.
Fascinating. All right. So with that, you guys ready to head into the wrap up?
I think we are.
Let's do it.
All right. So real quick, rapid fire. Let's go around reading recommendations, viewing recommendations for our lovely listeners. I'll start with you, Kino.
I'm going to go with this anime that I discovered by accident. It's called Kingdom.
Oh.
That was a surprisingly wonderful anime, and this is just Kingdom. Just if you can get a chance, check it out. I think it's on Hulu. Kingdom.
Gorgeous manga, too.
I will check it out now.
How about you, TJ?
I gotta say, read Bleach, catch up to Bleach. You do not want to miss the 1,000-year Blood War arc that is going to be released this year. It will be the best anime arc that has come out this year. I promise you that.
Okay.
There you go. Josh?
All right, so I would say Tower of God. Read it, watch it, I don't care. Tower of God. It is in a lot of ways kind of a sleeper hit. I don't think it gets nearly the press it deserves. Tower of God. And for a non-anime recommendation, I'll say I am halfway through the first book in the Wheel of Time series, and it's good.
This man is spitting facts, Your Honor. Wheel of Time is great.
Yep, I'm only halfway through the first book. I have to say, I have heard such crazy things about it that without having read any of it or known really anything about it, I bought the first 10 books in the series.
Worth it. Good purchase.
Yeah, again, I got them all off eBay as a bundle. It was great, and it's gonna be good when I have to do some when I need something to read on my long flights that I'm gonna have coming up. So it'll be good.
My recommendation, it came up ever so briefly, but if you are a fan of pretty anime, just well-looking anime, Sailor Moon, just I think is one of those anime that's just the stylization, even for like the scenery, the cats, the just I think it's a very well done and underrated anime, and that's mainly because of all of the distribution issues that show went through in the American distribution of it. But one of those that if you like Dragon Ball Z, then I would say it's pretty safe that you would like Sailor Moon.
Also, Sailor Moon beats Goku in a fight, so
100%.
Yeah, you can't argue with me about that. You can try it.
No.
Yeah.
I have receipts. I have the facts. I'll take you to court. Sailor Moon beats Goku in a fight, and I hate to say it.
Yeah.
On another note, if you like Sailor Moon, go watch Puella Magi Madoka Magica and then come yell at me about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Trust me, you'll be mad at me. It's fine. It's a great series.
Okay. And then for non-anime related recommendations, man, I gotta keep beating the drum of The Last Ronin. If you haven't checked it out yet, first off, go and read all of it. Then second, tune into the interview that we did with Kevin Eastman, where he weighs in on the whole thing. It is just go back and listen to that episode. I won't go up on my soapbox and talk about how much of a masterpiece this thing is, but for real and for true, it's a masterpiece. So with that, if you guys are looking for more geeky goodness for your ear holes, you can check out systematicgeekology.org or patreon.com/systematicgeekology. We are currently in the year of Lewis, and so we've got reviews of the movies up there, all kinds of specials from some of Lewis's other works, as well as so much more. We've got all sorts of things over there, and you guys get to help us keep the lights on while you're at it. And to hear more from us, your esteemed hosts for this geeky good time, you can go to systematicgeekology.org and click on the host tab, and you'll be able to see what everybody is up to and where to hear more. So with that, friends, stay geeky, and remember, we are all a chosen people, a geekdom of grace.
This was an Anazao Ministries podcast. If you enjoyed this show and would like to learn more about our network, be sure to check out the Anazao Ministries Podcast Network.